Last week I went on a nice cruise in the Squarebody, just cruised around some back roads, enjoyed some Mother Nature, some behind the wheel time. But about halfway through my trip I realized I'm missing something. And when I say missing something, I literally mean missing something. I was cruising and I didn't have any tunes. Now hey, don't get me wrong, I love having my arm out the window with the sound of the wind and the engine roaring, just driving on back roads, just all up in my thoughts. But sometimes I like to jam out and I want to listen to some tunes. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to install the RETROSOUND radio into this Squarebody. I'm only a couple days away from C10s in the city, and I want to have some tunes on the 4-hour drive to Atlanta. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this RETROSOUNDS radio, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Let's go ahead and unbox this RETROSOUNDS radio. See what we got in here. We've got digital owner's manuals. That way you can see step by step how to install these. I'm going to quickly run through everything that I just unboxed, and then we'll break it down as we open each box. But first is the black radio face with the chrome push buttons. You get to choose different options for what you want on the front of your radio. And this is a modular design, and what that means is your brain or your amp comes separate than your actual faceplate and their InfiniMount system that I'll talk about later. So it's pretty much a universal kit. Depending on the type of vehicle you have, you'll have different knobs and faceplates that go on the front. Here's the front plate. You'll see this is what is vehicle specific. So depending on what type of vehicle that you're installing this on will be the size to fill up your dash hole. I just really love the branding of the retro manufacturing stuff, just the font and just the logo and everything. And let's go ahead and unbox this black radio face with the chrome push buttons. Inside this box, we're going to have the actual turn knobs themselves that connect. Comes with all the different washers and nuts that you'll need. Here is the actual face. Next we'll unbox the motor, their amp. It's the Motor 4 HD, and this is their most recent technology, so it's going to give you a lot of the different options to connect to your iPhone with the RCA jacks, the adjustable color display, the modular mounting, Sirius XM radio. This is going to give you a ton of options for your classic ride. I'm going to run through some of the general features here just in case this is your first time hearing about retro radio. It's got a built-in amplifier, 25 watts per channel, HD radio. It matches your gauge cluster with an adjustable LCD, AM/FM tuner with 30 presets. You can choose different tuner frequencies, a modular mounting system that I'll talk about a little bit later, 2 low-level RCA outputs, the subwoofer output, 2 USBs, and a USB charging port for cell phones and other devices. It's got built-in Bluetooth, and a non-volatile memory means it'll keep your presets whenever the power is disconnected. And this is made for the iPhone or the iPod, and it's XM Sirius ready. So lots of options for a classic style retro radio. Some of the other options on the market don't have a option for subwoofers or for amps, so pay attention when you're going to purchase those. As soon as I open this up, I can already tell that I like it just because of the clearly defined wiring connections and the color coded, and then also the installation and assembly manual. I love a good set of instructions. That's why I do these videos, to show you guys step by step how to do stuff. So whenever there's actual instructions, it really helps me out and then helps me explain it to you as well. So good job on that. I mentioned earlier this is a modular design, and what I mean by that is everything is separate and it comes together as a universal unit. This is the HD radio. This is the 4HD with Sirius. Everything will attach to this unit here. The front piece we'll put on in just a second. The side InfiniMount brackets that I'll talk about, everything attaches to this. And this has all your connections in the back, and then also a place for the harness. Not all the options that you see online of adding a radio to your classic truck is going to have all these different options for RCAs, for amps, for subs, for your USB. This has a ton of options. I mentioned the Infinimount brackets. This is a patented design that's straight from RETROSOUND, and this is the only one of its kind that gives you all this adjustment here to adjust the radio exactly how you want it in your dash. So I hate when you buy a classic radio, you install it, the knobs stick out too far or the dash bezel sticks out. I've had that happen a couple times. This gives you the adjustment to get it exactly dialed in where you want. It will come with your radio harness, and this just plugs into the back of the radio, and then your secondary harness that's specific to your vehicle will plug into these that go to your actual speaker wires. I love this design because it allows you to either solder or wire connect these in and then plug them into the radio without splicing into your actual radio harness. So you can always get replacements for these for your radio if something happens, but you always keep your radio harness. You're going to get two different wiring harnesses that plug into the radio harness. This one is for your power, ground, ignition, and two remotes. One's for your antenna and one's for an amp. And then also speaker wire for 4 different speakers for front left, right, rear left, and rear right. If you're not going to use all 4 speakers, then you'll want to plug these on the end so you don't short out the wires. Here's the Bluetooth microphone, and you just mount this anywhere that you want and then run the wire and plug it into the back of the radio. To install the radio, it will mount up with the 2 knobs to the actual dash, but on the back side of the radio, you will need to bolt in this strap and then mount it somewhere on your dash. And this is important for your warranty. To not void the warranty, you do need to use the strap. And I would just encourage that because you don't want the weight of the radio as you're hitting bumps going down the road to be just on your knobs. So this is going to help secure the radio and make sure that your warranty stays valid. Next step is installing the faceplate onto the actual radio. So what you'll want to do is just reach inside and grab this pigtail right here. Make sure that it's plugged in down here, and it is. You will clip it onto the back. Just make sure you plug it in until it clicks. And you'll want to make sure that the RETROSOUND is toward the top and your buttons are on the bottom. This is just going to slide into the grooves, and the bag of screws is in this hardware bag, and it's the orange one. They're so small that they put them in this orange bag. That way you wouldn't lose them and could locate them. Love that. We'll go ahead and attach that there. The next step is the Infinimount brackets. These are just going to bolt in to both sides with 8 screws. You will see that it says L or R, that's left and right, and the instructions show that this groove goes toward the bottom. This is the adjustment that I was talking about in the Infinimount brackets. So we just want to get those screws hand tight enough where we can move the bracket around. Then the actual knobs slide into the middle to allow you to adjust them left to right and forward and backward. We've got the Infinimount brackets on there, and again I just put those on there kind of hand tight where I can still move these brackets around. Next we have the knob shafts. So we're going to put a nut and a washer on the back side, and then we're going to slide those through like this right here, and then put a washer and a nut on the front side. I'm going to go and I'm going to measure the width of the holes in my dash to get it pretty close to where I need it side to side, and then hand tighten it again. Alright, I just slid this in on the back side, and just from a quick glance, it looked like I needed to slide these brackets forward all the way to push this back a little bit, because I want this to be kind of flush with the rest of my dash and not stick out. So I pushed it all the way up, and I'll show you what I get with that. Now I'll go ahead and install these studs on there. And one of the tricks that I saw in another video is whenever you go to install these, try to align the front with the threaded spot. So it'll almost be all the way back, but you want that very close. I don't like when my knobs stick out really far, so I'll probably adjust the nut and the washer all the way down as much as I can and then adjust from there. As you're installing this, you're going to have a lot of hardware left over, and that's on purpose because this is a universal kit. So don't think because you have screws left over and stuff that you're not doing it correctly. This is going to come with extra washers, extra nuts, depending on your setup and your vehicle. So all we'll do here, install the nut all the way down, and then put a washer on there. This was almost all the way down. It's like this. I'm just going to get these hand tight right now. When I measured just a minute ago, it was about 6 inches hole to hole. So we will get this very close and then just slide it in on the back side and make fine adjustments. Once you get these hand tight, then you can undo the clip and go ahead and clip those in and make sure you hear it snap. And then these were about 6 inches apart. One of the things that I did is took out the bottom vent that went to the AC and heat. That way I can get the actual radio up underneath it here and then to try it out. I can see right here the actual knobs need to go back quite a bit. So I'm going to line up the gold part with the front. That's my next adjustment because it needed to go back quite a bit. I don't want them sticking out really far where it shows the hole behind it. Next, we're going to install the wiring, and you'll just want to take this connector, plug in a ground, a constant 12 volt, and an ignition. If you've got an amp or a antenna wire, that's what the blue ones are for right here. They're a remote wire for those. The other harness is the speaker wires. I only have a rear left and rear right now. That's the only speakers that were left in the truck, but soon I'll have more speakers coming from AIC Audio, the ones that did Lucky's audio, so stay tuned for that. But today I'm just going to hook up those two wires to the rear speakers. That way I can get some tunes. Alright, I have the radio. I went ahead and kind of strapped all the wires to the top right here because I'm not going to be using any of these right now. Went ahead and bolted in the strap on the back, and I'm just going to fit this up in there, and I'll find a place that I can actually mount this strap in there. Check it out. Got it all mounted up. Fits in there great. It's tight. The buttons, the adjustment ended up being perfect. You can't see behind it. There's a hole. Buttons work. Time to wire this thing up, plug it in, test it out. We got the radio installed, and it looks awesome. Matches the dash perfectly, fits in there really nice. I am excited about how it turned out. The blacked out with just the chrome buttons really ties in nicely with the dash. But let's turn this thing on and let's check it out. So as soon as I turn the truck on, the Bluetooth connects to it automatically. If you are using it for the first time, then you'll just go to your Bluetooth and click RETROSOUND, and it will connect, and then any audio that you play through here will work. I'm going to show you the options on here. So if you just tap this left button, you're going to see all the different displays, the presets, the mid, the treble, the bass, the balance, all that on here, and your X base. And then if you hold down this right button over here, you'll go into the menu. And there's a lot of different menus. Set your clock here. You've got your display frequency, the beep. You've got where you can set colors. So you've got a lot of different colors that you can set. I set mine to blue to match the truck, or you can have it where it just cycles through. You can have the dim, however bright you want. I just set that on low. And then all your different options that's in the manual. And your Bluetooth Connect, you don't have to have Bluetooth on. You can have it set where your volume is set to wherever you turned the truck off last time. Got presets for all your radio stations right here as well. Something that I really like about this setup is I can play on my phone Spotify, and then I can actually change the song with the knob here. If I hit this change right here, it'll change the song. You can see me changing the song right here. You can change the song, you can mute it, and you can also adjust your volume. And that is not the volume from your phone, that is its own volume through just the radio, which is really nice. On Lucky, where I had the Bluetooth, it is only adjusted by my phone volume and not the radio volume. So I'm really impressed so far. I installed some new 4x10s. One of my speakers were blown, but it works great. Alright guys, that's it for the RETROSOUND radio install. It was super easy, 2 thumbs up. It sounds great. It operates well. The Bluetooth connects. It looks really good. I like all the presets and the settings and the options that you have. Right now I've only got those 2 4x10s in the back, but AIC Audio is sending kick panel speakers and subwoofers for the back, similar to what I put in Lucky. So stay tuned for that. Check out RETROSOUNDS. They also offer retro belt. So you've watched my other video that I had that's of the seatbelt installation. That was a retro belt. So I highly recommend all things retro. They have been awesome. They're great to work with, and I love this radio, and I can't wait to listen to it on the way to C10s in the city. I hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching the video. Check out the website, simpleC10.co. That is where all the parts, the resources, the air ride guide, all the things is on the website, and that's how you support me. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.